At 3:14 a.m. London time, Kathleen Voss didn't hear her phone. By the time she woke, the family home across the ocean had been sold. An email from her attorney waited. The estate closed. Where's your wire? The estate closed. Where's your wire?
Patricia, I never signed anything.
The closing file has your notarized signature, Kathleen, dated the 18th. Did you sign?
The 18th. Kathleen had been in Paris. She pulled her passport. The stamps confirmed she was 300 miles away when the notary recorded that signature.
I was in Paris. Someone forged my name. Get me the notary recording.
Remote online notarizations are recorded by law. I'll request the session archive now. But Kathleen, if that signature isn't yours, this is forgery.
Who would do this?
You'll have the recording within the hour. Watch it carefully.
Somewhere, a woman had looked into a camera and called herself Kathleen. The video would name her, so she waited. Kathleen sat motionless, the city waking beyond her window. In the silence, she replayed a call from 3 months ago. Her sister Nicole's voice, crisp and pressing.
Just let me handle the sale, Kathy. You are so far away, I'll get the documents. You'll sign online and we'll settle everything fast.
The family home had been listed a week later. Now it wore a red banner across its online photo. Sold.
Nicole pushed me to sell from the day Mom died. She swore she'd handle everything, and I let her.
The notary platform is stonewalling. They won't release the recording without a signed consent form from the signer, meaning from you, as the identity they recorded.
You want me to sign a paper to prove I didn't sign the paper? Send it. I'll sign it now.
She signed and waited, the wall clock ticking past 41 unbearable minutes. A new email arrived from the notary service. Your archived notarial session is ready for download.
This is it. Someone looked into a camera and said she was me. Now I'll see her face.
She clicked download. The player opened to a grainy webcam frame. Frozen on a dim room, Kathleen pressed play. The video flickered to life, grainy and lurching. A woman's hand adjusted the webcam. Then a face centered the frame, blurry, then sharp.
Hi, I am here for the notarization. The estate sale papers, right?
Please hold your government-issued ID next to your face, ma'am. That's required for verification.
She raised a worn driver's license. Kathleen's expired license. The photo a decade old, but the face just close enough.
Yes, that's me. Kathleen Voss. I look a little different now, but it's me.
Please state your full legal name for the record, loud and clear.
Kathleen Marie Voss.
She didn't flinch. The camera recorded every syllable, every breath, every deliberate lie she told into the lens.
That's my sister. Nicole stole my name.
The woman who had looked into the camera and called herself Kathleen was the one person who should have guarded her name, her sister. She sent the recording to Patricia, then sat motionless as the London skyline brightened beyond her window.
Kathleen, that's your sister. The video is incontestable. She impersonated you on a recorded line.
I know. She used my expired ID. She even said my middle name.
This is identity fraud and forgery. We can file a criminal complaint immediately.
She looked into that camera and said my name like she owned it.
The notary missed the age discrepancy, but the recording is your shield. It's the smoking gun.
Kathleen ended the call and stood by the window. She pressed her palm flat against the cold glass.
We grew up in the same house. She chose this.
She picked up her phone, scrolled to Nicole's contact, and stared at it. Her thumb hovered over the call button.
She has to tell me herself, even if it's only a screen between us.
She pressed call. The line clicked open. Nicole answered before the second ring, her voice too bright, too fast.
Kathy, I was just going to call you. The sale finally closed. We'll get our money soon.
I know it closed. What I don't know is why my name is on documents I never touched.
I emailed you the link. You must have forgotten. I just signed to push things along.
Kathleen didn't answer. She sent a single text. A still frame from the notary recording. Nicole's face frozen next to the expired license.
You. Where did you get that?
The platform records every remote notarization. I watched you hold up my old ID and say my name. Don't lie to me again.
Nicole's voice broke. She tried a story. That it was just to push the sale through. That she meant to split the money fairly. That she was desperate and sorry.
I needed the money, Kathy. The kids. I didn't know how else to do it. I was going to tell you.
She's still hiding something. That wasn't a one-time mistake.
She opened her email archive. Every message Nicole had forwarded from the realtor. Every reply that supposedly came from Kathleen herself. Kathleen confirms the closing date of the 18th works perfectly. The sender was Nicole, but the quoted reply read, "I am fine with that, thanks."
I never wrote those words. She was forging my replies before she ever held up my ID.
Nicole had even requested a scanned copy of the old ID, telling Kathleen it was for a background check on the buyer. Kathleen printed that email too, the one where her sister asked for the very ID she'd later wave at the notary.
6 months of emails. She built a paper version of me, and I never noticed.
She circled Nicole's name in red, drew lines across the page, and added it to the growing evidence folder. The realtor's last email. "Thank you, Kathleen, for your swift approvals. I'll send the final docs to Nicole for your e-signature." In Nicole's apartment, a laptop sat open to that very email thread, the only place where Kathleen Voss had been a daily presence, her name typed by someone else.
She didn't steal a moment. She stole my identity, line by line.
She called Tom Keller, the notary on the recording, and asked him to verify his own session.
That session was standard. I confirmed ID and signature. No red flags on my screen.
Look at the ID. Look at the face. Then tell me it's the same person.
Tom opened the recording file on his own monitor and played it frame by frame. Then he froze it.
She held the ID. She said the name, but the expiration. I should have checked the expiration.
Patricia reached the notary's errors and omissions insurer. The oversight triggered a mandatory report.
We have grounds to file a claim against his bond. The insurer will want to settle before this reaches court.
The notary's oversight became Kathleen's leverage. It turned a family betrayal into a multi-liability case.
He didn't just fail to catch her. He made it legally cheaper to settle than to fight.
The pressure that had crushed her all morning was shifting, pushing outward toward the people who should have known better. Nicole called again an hour later, her voice stripped of the earlier brightness.
Please, Kathy, don't take this to the police. I'll lose everything. The kids, the apartment.
You should have thought of that before you stole my name.
I am drowning in credit card debt. The estate money was the only way out. I didn't mean to hurt you.
Part of me wants to believe her, the sister I grew up with, drowning in bills.
Think about my boys, Kathy. They need their mom. If I get a record, I can't work.
But you didn't think about what this would do to me. You just reached into my life and took it.
Every line she'd read, every forged email, every lie in that video, stacked against Nicole's tears.
I am not making any promises, Nicole. You took my share. That wasn't desperation. That was theft.
She ended the call and typed a single message to Patricia. Prepare the complaint. Patricia's reply came within the hour. The video call connected, her office filling the screen.
I've drafted the criminal complaint. The video alone is enough, but with the emails and notary admission, it's airtight.
Once we file, what happens to Nicole?
She'll be investigated. If evidence holds, and it will, she'll face identity fraud charges. It's a felony.
A memory surfaced, a photograph from 30 years ago. 2 sisters hugging under the oak tree in their parents' yard, sun in their hair.
If you file, you can't unfile, Kathleen. The state will prosecute whether you forgive her or not.
She's forcing me to choose between our parents' estate and my only sister.
She looked at the evidence folder. Every printed email, the frozen notary frame. Then back at Patricia on the screen.
Send me the forms. I'll sign them now.
Patricia uploaded the affidavit. Kathleen moved her cursor to the signature field and clicked. Kathleen e-filed the complaint from her laptop. The submission confirmation appeared on screen, and she printed it without a word.
I just set the law on my own sister. There's no taking it back.
She booked a same-week flight to the US. She needed to be on the ground when the investigation broke open. In her apartment, Nicole answered a call from a county detective. By the time she hung up, her hand was shaking.
They're investigating Kathy. A detective called me. What did you do?
I filed a report. You left me no choice.
They're going to arrest me, aren't they? I'm going to lose my boys.
That's up to the district attorney now, not me.
She landed in Boston 3 days later. The air felt heavier than London, charged with the storm she'd set in motion. Nicole's phone buzzed again, the detective's number. This time she let it ring, staring at the screen until it went dark. 2 days later, the knock at Nicole's door was not a neighbor. 2 county deputies held a signed search warrant.
What is this? You can't just come in. I have kids.
They could. The warrant listed forged estate documents, a printer, and 1 expired driver's license. In the nightstand, an officer lifted Kathleen's old ID from a drawer, still inside the plastic sleeve Nicole had begged for. Beside the printer, a stack of test pages. Nicole had practiced Kathleen's signature until the strokes matched the original. Nicole pressed against the wall, her phone confiscated. She reached for it, but the deputy shook his head.
Please don't take me in front of my boys. They'll be home from school in an hour.
They led her to the patrol car in handcuffs. A neighbor's cell phone caught the moment and sent it to the local news station. In her hotel room, Kathleen watched the arrest footage on the muted television, her sister's face, her own name in the caption.
This is what I made happen. There's no one doing it now.
The arrest made the morning news. Within hours, Kathleen's phone buzzed with calls from family friends, people asking how she could do this to her sister. One voicemail was from their parents' neighbor, a woman who had watched them grow up. Her voice cracked through the speaker. Your mother would be heartbroken to see you two like this. Your sister made a mistake, but she's still family. Don't do this to her.
A mistake. She practiced my signature and held up my face.
Please, Kathy. I got 1 phone call. They're moving me to county. Drop the charges.
I can't. You made this, not me.
I'll pay you back. Every cent. Just don't let them take my kids.
The line went silent for a moment. Then Kathleen heard her sister's breathing, shallow and defeated.
She's not sorry. She's bargaining.
She ended the call and turned off her phone. The pressure from outside would continue, but something inside her had locked shut. 3 days after the arrest, Tom Keller sat before the prosecutor's investigator. The notary recording was played again, frame by frame.
I saw the ID in the face. They looked close enough. I didn't check the expiration. That was my error.
An artist's sketch captured the moment the video froze on Nicole holding the expired ID. The image would accompany every brief filed. Patricia fielded calls from the notary's errors and omissions insurer. They wanted to settle before the case exposed their verification failures.
The insurer is offering a settlement to limit liability. Combined with Nicole's plea discussions, we may avoid a full trial.
In the county jail, Nicole's court-appointed lawyers spread papers on the steel table. The video, the emails, the practice sheets.
So if I plead guilty to a lesser charge, I might get probation instead of prison.
On every desk, the notary video still image was the first thing prosecutors and defense attorneys saw. It silenced every objection.
They can't argue with a recording. Nicole's lawyer knows a trial would be worse for her.
The case was no longer about whether Nicole did it, only about how much she would pay for it. Patricia set the folder between them. Inside lay Nicole's only way out and Kathleen's hardest choice.
Full restitution, 5% interest, a reduced charge. She gets probation if you sign.
She stole my name and my inheritance, and I am supposed to settle for a check.
It felt like yesterday. Her sister gripping her hand at their mother's funeral, whispering promises.
She broke that promise the moment she picked up a pen.
Kathleen studied the agreement. The money was secondary. The betrayal was the cost she couldn't price.
I'll agree on one condition. After she's released, she never contacts me again. No calls, no letters.
I'll draft the clause. It won't be legally binding, but we can include it as part of the settlement.
She signed her name, legibly, deliberately, the opposite of every forged stroke Nicole had practiced. The plea was a compromise, not a victory. but it gave her what the notary camera couldn't align. Nicole could not cross. The county courthouse smelled of floor wax and old paper. Nicole entered in handcuffs, her eyes fixed on the floor.
Guilty, Your Honor?
The judge reviewed the agreement, his eyes pausing on the monitor where the notary video still hung. Frozen on Nicole holding Kathleen's ID, the sentence was read: 18 months probation, full restitution, plus 5% interest, 100 hours of community service. Nicole turned, searching for Kathleen's face in the gallery. Their eyes met for 3 seconds. No warmth, no release.
There it is, the face she wore in the video. But I am not the camera. I won't record this.
It's done, Kathleen. The restitution will process within 60 days.
Nicole's hand trembled as she signed the plea agreement. The pen strokes uneven, nothing like the practiced signature she'd forged. The bailiff removed her cuffs for the signing, then clicked them back on. Nicole didn't look up again. The gavel fell. The sound was small, but it sealed the distance between two sisters permanently. Within a month, the notary's errors and omissions insurer wired a separate acknowledgement. Tom Keller had failed to verify his signer.
The estate distribution has been reopened. Nicole's fraudulent disbursement is void. Your check is ready.
A new check was printed, full half of the sale proceeds, plus interest made out to Kathleen Marie Voss. She received the wire confirmation on a Thursday afternoon, sitting alone in Patricia's office.
It's mine again. But it came back wearing my sister's fingerprints.
She asked for the final settlement documents. She wanted to see the numbers in ink.
You are whole now, Kathleen. Financially, at least.
Whole. I traded a sister for a wire transfer.
She thanked Patricia, gathered the papers, and walked out into the cold afternoon light. The money was back, but the cost of getting it back couldn't be deposited into any account. She emailed the probation officer and requested a supervised meeting. The message was one line: "I'll come to the office." 2 weeks later, she walked into that cold room. Nicole was already there, hands clasped on the table, her eyes swollen.
I am so sorry, Kathy. I think about what I did every day. I was drowning and I pulled you under.
You forged my signature for 6 months. You stole my identity, line by line. Apologies don't undo that.
I know. I'll never forgive myself. Just don't cut me out forever.
I am not here to cut you out. I am here to end it. After today, we don't exist to each other.
Nicole's face crumpled. She reached across the table, but Kathleen pulled her hand back and didn't move again.
I paid for Mom and Dad's headstone. Alone. Like I should have done everything else.
She stood. The probation officer stepped forward. Nicole didn't speak again. The door clicked shut behind Kathleen. For the last time, she had left her sister behind. The monument company sat on a quiet street, its showroom filled with granite samples and half-carved stones.
A double headstone. For Harold and Vivian Voss. I want both names, the dates, and loved and remembered.
She wrote their names on the order form, in clear, steady strokes. The opposite of the signature Nicole had rehearsed.
They deserved a daughter who honored them properly. At least one of us still can.
The clerk showed a digital proof, polished gray granite, both names centered. The epitaph simple.
I am finally signing for them, not against them.
She pulled out her checkbook and wrote the full amount without hesitation. Every dollar earned back from her parents' estate. The receipt was stamped paid in full. She folded it into her wallet, next to the passport page that had proved her real signature. She walked out into the afternoon, the weight of the stone not on her shoulders, but settled in her chest. The headstone would be installed by week's end. She would visit then, alone, as she had done everything else. She drove alone to the cemetery on a Tuesday morning, the sky a soft gray. The new headstone was visible before she parked, polished granite rising from the grass. She knelt. Harold Voss, Vivian Voss, loved and remembered. The letters cut deep. She set a bouquet of white lilies at the base, their scent clean against the damp earth.
This is what the notary camera should have seen. Not a lie, but a daughter who showed up.
The video had trapped Nicole mid-lie. It froze her for a courtroom. But here, the only recording was memory, and it couldn't be forged.
I am sorry it took so long. I am sorry she wasn't here, but I came. I signed the right papers. I paid with my own hand.
She stayed until the clouds shifted and a thin light touched the stone. Then she stood, brushing soil from her coat. As she walked back to the car, she didn't look back. The grave was complete. So was the fight. The notary's camera caught a thief in one moment. But only she could carry the truth of what was lost and what she'd finally set in stone. She flew back to London on a Friday. In her bag, a USB drive held the notary recording that had changed everything. Unlocking her apartment, she set her keys down quietly. The space felt smaller now, closer. She exhaled for the first time in months. She placed the estate file and the USB drive in a small box, then tucked her parents' photograph beside them. The headstone receipt lay on top with a cup of tea. She sat by the window and looked out at the London skyline. It was quieter than she remembered. That evening, she walked along the Thames. The water carried lights from the city, and she walked until the path ended. The notary video had become part of the public record, a chain of evidence that silenced all doubt. Even the neighbors stopped calling. The estate disbursement cleared. The headstone was set. The legal file was closed. Kathleen Voss had her inheritance back. She stood at her window, a cup of tea in hand, watching the London night deepen. The truth had cost her a sister, but it had also given her back her name and her peace. The notary's camera caught her, but it was Kathleen's resolve that trapped her. Weeks passed without a sound. Then, a letter arrived, postmarked from the county correctional facility, Nicole's handwriting on the envelope.
She wrote, "After everything."
She turned it over in her hands once, then twice. The seal held. She set it on the shelf beside the box of mementos. She didn't open it. She wasn't going to. Some doors, once shut, stay shut. Her parents' photograph watched from the frame. She reached up and touched the glass, just over her mother's face.
I kept my promise, even when she didn't.
She settled into her chair by the window. The London rain had started, a soft sound against the glass. She took a sip of tea and looked out at the gray skyline. Her phone stayed dark. Her sister's letter stayed sealed.
I did what I had to do.
Outside, the city blurred into gray. Inside, the silence was not emptiness. It was the shape of a boundary she finally owned. She came home the next evening, as always. Keys in the lock, the familiar click, the door swinging open to quiet. She hung her coat, straightened the collar, and set her bag down. The routine was ordinary. The silence was earned. On the fridge, pinned by a plain magnet, was the receipt from the monument company. Paid in full, she paused, touching the corner of the paper, her thumb brushing the ink. Then she let it go and walked to the window. The London sky was clearing after the rain. Ribbons of gold stretched across the rooftops. She didn't pour tea or turn on the television. She just stood and watched the light change. In that stillness, she felt the shape of something she hadn't had in months. Peace. The notary's recording was sealed in evidence. Nicole was in her own life, serving probation, and Kathleen Voss was exactly where she belonged. She didn't need the letter. She didn't need the fight. She had kept her promise. The rest was silence she finally welcomed. She stood until the gold faded to rose, then to dark, and the city, and the woman, and the quiet remained.